Cool. So what did you think?
I thought it was good overall. I was honestly expecting a bigger turnout, considering more people asked for the link. I don't
Hmm.
even know if Greg showed up, if he was maybe one of those people that was no name muted or something, but seems like he didn't show.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I saw Rico made that story, and I think maybe like one other person made a story.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't think anyone made a video so far and like tagged the Natty King. So um, now we got to think of a plan. Okay, what if that doesn't happen? That's something to think about. What if like people don't really because one Rico, you saw very clearly he saw the Natty King roster, the $1 million, the competition. That's all he thought about. He didn't um under maybe like fully understand it obviously yet because it's still being fleshed out and explained.
Hmm.
But I like that's where the attention was getting drawn, and that will be where a lot of people's attention gets drawn, right? They're gonna think, oh, this is a tournament, and I want to win that $1 million. Who wouldn't, right? It's a big
Right.
allure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so we have to make it very apparent that it's not just a bodybuilding competition. We have to let them know that it's, a movie, an award ceremony, going to be, an anime, all these big things. It's more of a entertainment production kind of thing, more so rather than just a competition. Because if it was just a Mr. Olympia, it's not profitable, right?
Right.
It's not a good enough business model. There has to be something else to it. Um, so yeah, like we have to think of how do we one make that a reality
Hmm.
and explain that to people like Rico asking about that.
Yeah.
Um, what was the show order? Hold on, let me get a pencil.
Hmm.
Because we were gonna do the plan, the new cat like a new category between the mixed bodybuilding open. Then we were gonna do Natty Queen,
Hmm.
and then men's physique, and then was it a break year or what was the fourth year?
Um, I think that's a good question. Yeah, because it was Natty King, Natty Queen, a men's physique version, and then uh honestly, probably a break here would be smart to tell you the truth. Because with Natty Queen, and I think we still have some time to think about it, but with Natty Queen, when I really think about like, okay, so the whole thing's about leadership, right? And we've already understood that like it's not the best physique that wins, it's the best physique and the best role model for the sport.
Hmm.
That kind of opens up the opportunity for women in different divisions to compete for the actual crown of the Natty Queen. So in essence, it could be like a bigger show with more athletes where we've got women in wellness, women in bikini, and women in like maybe fitness and figure. Maybe we take like 10 from each division. They all compete in their various divisions, and then by the end of the show, we're deciding who is the actual Natty Queen based not only on her physique, but also like embodying the core values of what it means to be the Natty Queen, something like that. And honestly, when I'm looking at, I can't
I
remember
like
her name.
that.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she was married to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and she was a female bodybuilder back in like, I don't know, the 80s or something like that. I want the Natty Queen to be a future movie star, period. And like that's what I want for the Natty Queen. I want her to have the look. I don't think we have a lot of heroine femme fatales. I want the same thing for the Natty King as well, but like I want the
Mhm.
Natty Queen to be a fucking movie star. So yeah, I'm just keeping that in mind.
That's a good idea though. That way you get inclusive, but like 'cause like you think of the Natty King, right? You got these 30 guys who are, they're kind of close in range. Like if you start comparing, a bikini to what is it called?
Wellness.
Um even above wellness, just bodybuilding, right? Women's bodybuilding, like it's a bit of a difference. a bit different of a look.
Yes.
So how would you then, I don't know. It's just a bit more drastic, I feel. How would you then judge fairly?
I don't think that the crown can actually go to I think the way that would work out. Let's say we did hypothetical, completely hypothetical. Let's say we did all of the female divisions. We did figure, physique, wellness, bikini, and fit model. Let's say we did five, right? And we had
That's what I was thinking of.
right. And in this hypothetical, we had 10 athletes from each division competing in all of these five divisions. So it's like we've got 50 female athletes, right? The one that wins, so it's like you get a winner from each division. Now you've got
Hmm.
five finalists competing for the Natty Queen crown, right? And then it becomes subjective. Who represents the best ideologies, the best standards for what we want the Natty Queen to look like? And maybe it's a different person the next time we circle back around to the Natty Queen crowning. Maybe it's a different division. But obviously we would have to figure out the metrics as to like what that like how are we crowning the actual Natty Queen? But again, and that's honestly that has to be fleshed out for the Natty King as well. I think it gets a lot more nuanced when we get to the
I
Natty
feel like
Queen.
people would want a specific, guide of what to try and be
Right.
looking like. And if like,
Leader. Forget the physique. It's got to be leader. Like
okay,
the athletes are supposed to. We're supposed to, and this is our job. This is my job as a storyteller. We are supposed to show how these athletes are heroes within their own stories, leading this movement of natural bodybuilding, natural human potential. And as we put the camera on them, we are showing them how they're actually being like a Captain America type superhero or like a role model within their community online and in person. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that like the Natty Queen should get the crown who embodies and is able to show over her year-long prep. It's not about bodybuilding. It's more
I
about
see. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And all that gets taken into account. Okay. Right. In the award ceremony type. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. So that's done. Oh yeah. So anyways, so the order still.
Yes.
So we do the women's, everything, assuming everything goes well, then we do men's physique, and then it goes break year, get a full
Yeah.
reset because we have to have a minimum of 4 years.
Hmm.
Every 10 years,
Amen.
doing athlete for it to cycle properly
Amen.
and have the hold on. Let's
Hmm.
do three. At the end of the year, it happens. So that's a full year to do the prep. Finishes with 30, full year to the prep. Yeah, okay. So then there's always at least a year to do the prep, as long as it's deep in the year.
Yes.
Um, Otherwise, then you'd have to make sure there's a 5 year gap if you're planning to give them at like a full year guarantee of prep.
Well, and then so we can look at the Olympics and we can also look at like presidential terms. When we look at the Olympics, the Summer Olympics is every 4 years, and then 2 years after the Summer Olympics, there's a Winter Olympics. So it's not crazy, especially since our hands are definitely going to be tied with focusing on bringing the Natty King to fruition. So it's not crazy to think 2029 for the Natty King, and then 2011. It's not crazy to do like 2011 for the Natty Queen, and then perhaps in between that we do a men's physique version or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
I also
I
want to
liked what.
suggest, since I have you, since we're talking about the future right now,
Mhm.
um, I've been thinking. I want to hear your thought on this. Um, you know how like Ronnie Coleman is like eight-time Mr. Olympia? I've been thinking, and especially it's like if we're slotting these out like every 4 years, what if you win the Natty King twice, or even if you compete for the Natty King twice, that's it. Like new. We're keeping it moving. kind of like a president, where like a president can't run more than two times, or he can't serve as the president more than two times.
I do like the idea to allow more people to have the opportunity. And you think of most like shows, which in reality is supposed to be like a show, a cinematic universe, or like, something that can
Hmm.
continue.
Hmm.
Um, Most of the time nowadays you see a whole new group
Yeah,
giving people whole new people to get attached to,
yeah,
get
and it,
invested in, and like learn and obsess about. And yeah.
and it also like it also draws further distinction. I'm not looking to replace other championship competitions in different federations. This is more so a vehicle to promote natural bodybuilding as a whole. So whoever wins the Natty King crown, great, wonderful. We've got a bigger spotlight for the sport. But I'm saying like it's really a role of leadership. The actual title and the pursuit of this Natty King crown, it's supposed to be a journey to be a leader and to be a role model and to be a hero of your own story and a hero for the natural bodybuilding community. Once you win, all right, you won. Let's give it like let's make sure that someone else can win, you know?
Yeah. I liked Marshall Johnson's idea of a, obviously no, we talked about that, having any cheaters will be disqualified from competing again. Um I wrote down, yeah, people very allured to the prize money. So we
Hmm.
have to draw attention away from just that. How else do we show that they can receive value from participating in whatever we ask of them?
Phrase that question again.
So, for example, asking them to make the content for us so that we can create a dialogue, doing all this stuff. He's just caring about the $1 million and how to get on the roster, and that's,
Hmm.
you could see him how he was, or
Yeah,
hear it in what he was asking.
yeah,
Um, that's where the focus is, and that's what they care about.
yeah, yeah.
So if I know you said you don't want to make it about the tournament, you don't want to make it about this, thing,
Mhm.
but you have to then be able to show it. You have to be able to
Yeah.
show them what else they will get and receive, or
Hmm.
be able to explain what will happen.
Yeah. So, I think to answer your question, I've been thinking about that since the thing. Um, all right. So our disadvantage is we don't have money to pay anyone. We have zero
Mhm.
money to pay anyone. So the only thing that we can sell is legacy and a story. That's the only thing that we have to offer so far is something for a person to attach themselves to or become invested in the outcome. Legacy and story. The story is very good. We need the next sports icon out of bodybuilding to be a natural athlete for the sake of bodybuilding and the fitness industry. That's a very easy, digestible story. Why is this important? Because the fitness industry is riddled with lies and deception, creating this perception that if you take these like supplements, you'll get a nice physique, but the people who are selling the supplements are taking steroids. It drives this incentive to always pursue external substances in order to better yourself. Whereas the fundamentals of natural bodybuilding suggest that if you just pursue greatness, if you pursue peaking your health, mind, body, and spirit, you will achieve the version of yourself that you want to experience and that you want to see in the mirror, not only just by seeing it visually, but you also experience the mental transformation as a result of going through the steps of being a natural bodybuilder and a natural athlete. That's the why that this is important. We can talk about the why all day, but to your point, how do we show it? Well, after this past Zoom call and seeing how little people actually did the thing that we asked, we're gonna have to, it's gonna have to be more about like I've got to do it. Like I've got to be even more of the face. And we have to start basically focusing on the genre I always wanted to invent so far as filmmaking is concerned is called cinematic lifestyle. But it's essentially taking a stylized documentary and then filming it as if it's a movie. So when it comes to launching the Natty King official YouTube channel, I think we need to start focusing on chunk projects. So the first chunk is going to be the sizzle reel, and we want the sizzle reel to be like flashy, epic, as much collaboration as we can get within the sizzle reel. Like if we can get a snippet from Greg Doucette, if we can get a snippet from the 10 athletes on the roster, fantastic. If not, we just pad it with as much time as we need with myself. And I understand that my character is it's a bit weird, but this is exactly how it has to go based off of the type of interaction that we're having with people. I've got to be a character within this story where my intentions are good, but my methods are like I'm not the perfect person to wear the crown. While I do believe that the crown does need to exist and that a natural athlete needs to come out of this sport to carry the torch for everyone else, because I am driven by this desire to achieve greatness, apparently, after talking to natural bodybuilders, their drive is not to experience greatness. Their drive is one of humility, where they're constantly working on the better version of themselves. They're not looking necessarily for the spotlight. It's fucking crazy. I don't fully understand. I want to talk to more natural bodybuilders, but essentially what I'm driving at is I'm going to end up playing a heel character similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger in Pumping Iron. The person who needs to win is more like a Lou Ferrigno type, humble, relatively quiet, but like a nice guy, like a likable guy, the embodiment of what it means to be a natural bodybuilder, which is just keep your head down and grind. Meanwhile, I'm in the face of this whole thing. I'm talking to the enhanced side of the sport. I'm explaining why you guys should not really actually be in the spotlight, that the poster child for bodybuilding should actually be a natural athlete. I'm saying all these things and I'm saying it in a flashy way. Think Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, any flashy athlete that you can think of, that's the role that I have to play. And we have to put me front and center and interact with the enhanced side of the sport and the natural side of the sport in order to further the story. So essentially, I would become a greater vehicle to show both sides of what's happening within the fitness industry. That seems to be like the only way I can see it because
I like that.
otherwise we can't get the athletes to play the game that we're asking them to play.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that answers that.
Yeah.
One thing, I can't edit the lives, like the IG lives. I can't edit the description afterward.
Oh,
So if you want to have the descriptions like that I gave, just make sure like you have the email open so you can copy and paste it before you
yeah,
hit post.
absolutely.
If you want that, I mean, like put it wherever you want, obviously. But if you wanted the like hashtags in there and stuff, make sure you do that. If I ever fucking post one of those announcements and it's when the music's dumb, please make sure you change it. I'm trying my best,
Yeah, I like it.
but okay, word. Um, mm-mm. Who should I be following on the accounts? I think it was either you or Sam. Followed a whole bunch of people, and like just people who are like even like attached to the project. Like if you like Dan or Rico, who's like doing stuff. They're at least like posting about it. I should obviously follow them.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so. Um, I wouldn't overthink it. I think anyone that kind of draws your eye. But I
Okay.
think over following, what's more important is to engage, and that really becomes more of Sam's responsibility currently. We want
hmm
the Natty King official engaging with like Michael Hearn's content or an athlete that we want on the roster like Overkill, Joe Keller, someone like that.
Okay. Yeah. It was good at the start. But yeah, I started to do a little bit of that too. Because I noticed it kind of stopped. And then, mm,
Yeah, I mean, what you just said, that kind of that drives the point that I wanted to make home today with you is that after the Zoom call, because everything, all the disappointment that you expressed or the observations that you made, where it was like a lower turnout than we expected, and then even after that, not a single person did the thing that we requested. It helped me understand, yeah, it took the air out of my sails. I was like, oh, this is gonna be this kind of sucks. But what it did inform me is that like we can't really trust anyone besides ourselves. Anyone who has
Hey man, you're
expressed like,
preaching to the choir.
yeah, yeah. And it's like you and I understand that you have a high level of emotional investment in this. So do I.
Mm,
Anyone who's not using those words or like that type of vocabulary, I am emotionally invested in the success of this project, then they're not. It's just that simple. They are not emotionally invested if they're not saying that they are. And then even if they are, if they're not showing it through their actions, then they're not. And it's just that
yeah,
simple.
honestly, words are one thing, but like it's actions. Actions can tell you everything you need to know about someone.
Right. Right. So I say all that to say it's like it definitely gives me a clearer picture as to like what needs to happen. I have to be like a way bigger personality. And while I love doing the Instagram lives and I'll continue to do that, we now have to start thinking of like visual presentation because we understand what the story is. Now it's like, okay, short form content and it has to drive to YouTube. We have to start thinking of like our YouTube channel is the channel. Because literally, like, what's the difference between having a YouTube channel and having a show on Netflix? It's distribution. That's the big difference. Distribution and a bigger budget. So we want to work within our current capacity for resources, and we want to make the best visual presentation of this story possible, driving to YouTube. And then we get more money, the production quality goes up, and that's literally the next 2 years. That's it. Long form content in the form of like 20-minute episodes telling this exact story with visuals, me interacting with athletes, enhanced and natural, and creating a compelling argument as to why the Natty King actually needs to be crowned. Like that's what the future looks like.
Um, One other thing, in like February, I'm gonna be going back to CRA for like expected 3 months. It's like a 3 months term, so it should be short. But from that time, like February to uh May, then like we need to make sure we have someone who can like do the social media. Especially honestly, even like starting in the new year, someone who can run because we do need Natty Queen stuff to start happening by then too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's not we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. So
That's just something we need to keep in mind is that we'll need to look out for someone like that.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, mm, mm, mm. So for collabs, like we still got people who aren't accepting the collabs. I noticed Valley accepted the one he was collabed with, the Zoom meeting one he accepted.
Hmm.
So obviously, like if one of the guys aren't accepting, and I see guys like Valley are accepting, like even though he doesn't have the biggest, like you suggested, Matt, what was his name, Oscar, Zach, and Josh, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and like, so yeah, like like it's cool to go ahead and do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm, mm. And also make it clear that it's like it's not going to be like it's going to be a new definition. Like it's not going to be the classic physique that you see now. It's not the bodybuilding that you see now.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously we still got to come up with a name and what we plan to do with that.
Yeah. Next gen
Mm-mm.
physiques isn't bad, but maybe
It
I,
sounds, I know, it doesn't quite feel right. It
mhm.
sounds like close, but not right.
Yeah.
And then do you have your live schedules for tomorrow?
With tomorrow is the 22nd. Let me double check. Do, 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 do. I've got a live. Um, who was oh, so what was the topic? Was it
Protecting the crown and drug testing protocols explained.
so that's scheduled for the 24th at 3:45.
Okay. Yep. That's
Cool.
all I had.
Cool. Okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Sounds good. And yeah, I would say that my notes from the reflection from this Zoom call and like how people interacted after we asked, we want to start putting our stakes in people who are already operating at a high level of content. And YouTube is going to become more important than Instagram eventually. Eventually, it's going to become much more important because that's where we want to drive people and traffic to. And the best strategy that I can come up with is we do a sizzle reel first, then we do a pilot episode, basically setting the groundwork for what this YouTube channel is going to consist of, which is essentially crowning the Natty King, the next great sports icon out of bodybuilding. We're going to do the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And then we want to interact and collaborate this content with established YouTube channels. We want to look at the entire YouTube landscape, the entire YouTube landscape and see who would want to run with this story. It is a very compelling story. So now we just have to match the content, that level of quality to the story itself, and then get people to play and interact with it. And I'm talking about like people who think that the fitness industry is already toxic. There are so many YouTube channels out there who are already saying the fitness industry is cooked. It's like toxic. It's full of like deception, manipulation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's who this project is for people to talk about making the sport and the industry cleaner and like just a bit more focused towards natural human potential and stuff like that. We wanna be able to interact with YouTubers.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'll definitely have to get started on. Are you gonna create the platform, or you want me to get started on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, so if we're not making content for the YouTube channel, it's like not really I say all this
Okay,
to
fair enough.
say the sizzle reel is more important because we need something on the channel. So that's why I haven't really been
Focus on that. Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
Oh, what's one thing I wanted to talk about? Was that producer on that call?
He wasn't, and I don't know if we can rely on him either. I just don't know if we can rely on him. He said that he had some dates and times mixed up, but he'll be able to make it to the next one. I asked him if you can't, I would love to hop on an IG live with you just to like chat about what we have to do. But regardless, if he can't make it, then
Oh
we
yeah,
have to
then yeah,
start.
no,
Yeah,
it's it shows.
yeah, and this is not surprising. It's like most people like to get paid to do shit, which I completely understand. So we might just be hitting that wall that every person who is aspirational and wants to do great things, it gets to a point where it's like if you don't have money to offer people to help, then you just don't get the help. And we might be getting to that point soon if we haven't already hit it. And I'm even looking into, okay, so if we need money to start making long form content for YouTube, where can we get the money? Executive producers exist. That's the current strategy that I'm looking at. I'm looking into seeing like how can we attract executive producers, things of that nature. So it's going to take some time. In the meantime, we still have Instagram and we're still making content consistently on Instagram. But the future of this project has to exist on YouTube and it has to start with this as a reel. Then it goes into a 20-minute pilot, basically setting the groundwork for what it's going to look like. And that's going to need funding.
Yeah, lots to do. All
Yep. Yep.
right, well, I will let you go then. Give you a little bit of a break here before your next call.
Cool, bro.
20 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's great to talk to you, man. I first like I watched the Zoom call back and man, it's crazy because like I get so hyped like I see it, but it's like it's not enough. So what will like we have to start thinking about visual presentation because a Zoom call, No one, like 1,000 people, 100,000 people aren't going to sit down and watch a Zoom call. That's not interesting. So we got to start thinking like, okay, visual presentation, like that's the next thing. We got to make it visually appealing, visually entertaining. That's what we have to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. But yeah, man, this was great.
Hey, man. All right. Good talking to you. Take care.
All right, brother, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace.
Peace.